Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at a comparison review of one of our favorite distilleries, at least in the past, Dustin.
They used to be.
Glendronach. The two staples, two big, bold whiskeys that have made me fall in love with this distillery. The 21 Parliament and the 18 Allardice.
Amazing whiskeys.
Great whiskeys. Just give you a quick tale of the tape. You guys are probably familiar with the whiskeys. The 21 comes in at 48% ABV, and it's aged in oloroso and PX. The 18 years old is all oloroso, and it comes in slightly lower ABV, 46% ABV. Now, this one is the 2019 bottling of the 18 and the 2020 bottling of the 21. So we're talking, what, 23, 24-year-old whiskey, something like that?
Well, I mean, this is November 20th, 19, so we're basically talking 2020 and 2020 here. So these should be either just under or right at that 24-year mark.
So famously, or whiskey famously, Glendronach, shut down for a while, a little bit in the mid to late 90s. So when they came back out with their age statement whiskeys, it was always far older than what the age statement was. That's ending for, well, it has ended for the 12 and the 15 and the 18. The 21 is in the final stages of it now, but these are still old, good ones that are, non-chill filtered, natural color, the way it should.
Yeah, back when they're done. And I think this is right at the cusp of as old as it's getting. And then, because I think if you go too much past this one, and I can't remember the exact age.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
There's a 6-year window.
Yeah,
I can't remember if I think what it was, Mike. I remember now. I think 2020 is when it hit 24 years, but it's also when it was going to cut over and no longer be 24-year-old.
It was going to be 18.
So it was going to be somewhere in 2020. So I made sure to get at the end of
the older whiskeys.
2019. I knew for sure this would be old. There wasn't going to be I don't know what day it cut over.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, old good ones, essentially.
Yeah,
the old good Glendronachs that we really fell in love with. And again,
non-chill filtered like they're supposed to be.
Right. And I still remember the first day I went to the party source and got a Glendronach 18. I was amazed with that whiskey. I couldn't wait to get the 21. Good. Yes, so good. So anyway, we're going to compare the two of these. I know people have their favorites. So we're going to kind of go back and forth with us and let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. If you guys have these at home, go ahead and pour them. Drink along with us.
Absolutely.
And let us know exactly what you're thinking today when you're watching this video. It'll be fun. And if you've got the chill filtered versions, let us know.
Yeah. Chill filter, I don't know how much I can smell or taste, but,
it pushes the mouthfeel, really. And the weird thing is there's just no reason why you would chill filter this bottle. It's 48%. There's just no reason.
Anyway, let's get to the whiskey reviews again. Whiskeys that, we have loved for a long time, and we figured after our extensive whiskey experience, especially with sherry whiskeys, it'd be fun to go back to some of these that we definitely loved in the past and see what we think about them today.
There's a reason this one got killed, guys. In December, this was my go-to.
Dude, these have always been good whiskeys. I've given these out for wedding presents and things like that. Because if you like sherry whiskey, like you like Macallan, you're gonna like this whiskey.
These are the most approachable, ultra-aged whiskeys out there. Great for the bourbon drinkers.
All right, so you're getting good oloroso sherry cask whiskey, dark, rich.
I just want to smile when I smell this, Mike. It's old. It's old. It's oaky. It's woody.
It reminds me of Christmas.
Beautiful sherry. It's giving me notes of a little bit of European oak spice. I don't know if this is American or European oak, but it's definitely giving me a little bit of spicy European. It's giving me a little bit of vanilla American.
Yeah, this always reminded me of Christmas, this whiskey. It's always got, I got the spices, but I got a lot of Christmas spices, things like that. Mm-hmm. It just felt like a good time, Christmas holiday party, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Really, really well done sherried whiskey. And something I've always appreciated, and this was the first of the series, of the age statement series I noticed it in, was that what I always refer to as that Glendronach coal note. That cold note. I picked it up in this whiskey first.
Instantly, yeah. You're starting to think, why is this kind of dirty? And then you're like, oh, that's cold.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, even today, when I have Glendronach single casks, especially with the oloroso, I look for that note. Yeah. I'm just like, I know what that is. That's a better version of the 18, but it's still the 18.
And that's the fear I've got, is the new 18 is not going to have that cold note anymore.
We'll see.
Like, the word is they're going to try to transition away from old to young. But eventually, guys, that cold note's going away.
All right.
Sad.
Let's go to the 21.
Oh, goodness. I'm not done with 18, Mike.
We'll get to it, buddy. Now, I loved the nose on the 18. Christmas, so many good memories tied to it. I'm partial to it. This is my first Glendronach love, was this 18 Allardice. That cherry note, that smell on it, just incredible. But, buddy, as you know, I'm a big fan of PX sherry. Mm-hmm. And that integration of the PX sherry with this oloroso combined with a little bit more age. Now, maybe not much in these two bottlings, but
Yeah, there's technically none, but you never know what they're actually bottling.
right. And with a little bit higher ABV, just a tick at 48%. It just comes off richer and more sophisticated. This always, to me, the Allardice had a bit of a sherry overcoat to it, which was fine. I like sherry overcoat whiskeys. Cask Strength 10, those whiskeys. Heavily, heavily overcoated sherry. Hard to get through it. Takes a while to work your way down the bottle. The 21, there's far more actual depth to this whiskey compared to the 18, in my opinion.
I do get more depth on the nose here, Mike, but I gotta say, it's comparatively closed off. It's comparatively just less jumping out of the glass, and I'm getting a lot less of that beautiful coal. I'm getting less of just the sherry in general.
It isn't as popping of a sherry. The
Yeah.
PX made it a little stickier. It made it a little more artificial in the sweetness. This is over the top this is over the top sweetness, but not artificial sweetness. The PX added a bit of artificial note to it, to me, it always made it feel more refined. I've always slightly preferred the 21, but I've never had them back to back like this.
Yeah, and these are going to be close to what we're going to get as the oldest at the best.
Yeah, this is more aggressive on the nose for sure. And this is more refined on the nose. What you would expect, even at slightly higher ABV.
I mean, given they're basically roughly the same age, unless they are even top loading these more, which is possible actually.
Yeah, I mean it's probably just the fact that they did both types of sherry.
They certainly charge a hell of a lot more for this.
They do. Or maybe it just takes longer or it's more rare for a PX cask to make it that age, and it still be what they're looking for as far as a profile.
I mean, well, Oloroso is the king. Everybody wants Oloroso.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I'm a little different, and I know I'm in the minority.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Oloroso became the gold standard a long time ago. I don't know if PX is newer to the game or if just people suddenly discovered, hey, this is pretty good.
No, I just think it's thought of as a lesser version, lesser spirit. Maybe that just comes from the...
I mean, have you seen 60s and 70s PX distillate that's 15 years old that people talk about? Like, I just don't hear much about them.
Sure. Maybe it has less high-end potential.
I don't know. I certainly like some of Glendronach that have been aged that long. The 27 year we had. Whew.
True.
Thanks, Keith.
They're exceptions.
Yeah. So anyway, beautiful. I'm going to jump right in here and get a little taste of this Glendronach.
Go for it. Yeah, going back to it, there's no doubt it's more aggressive. Yeah, it's just a sherry beast. Sherry overcoat.
Yeah, the beautiful thing I like about this whiskey, Mike, yeah, it's classic. Big, bold, yet very sweet forward Oloroso. Nice chocolates, fruits, sauternes and dates and raisins, and all that good stuff.
Oh, plums.
But the beautiful part about this whiskey is the way that coal plays with the 24-year-old years of oak. And they play together in this beautiful like putty of coal and oak and wood. It just gives it this incredibly nice, complex, long finish. Excellent.
What I've always thought benefited Glendronach, as far as my love for it, is that coal note almost did something similar, not to the extent, but gave it a similar feel to what, say, Pete does to Springbank or Lagavulin. So they still always had a good sherry cask, well-aged whiskey, good ABV, did it the right way. But that coal note, along with that overcoat, big punchy sherry, just works so well together. And again, good cask maturation, as I said before, the oak note, the coal note, over-the-top sherry note. It's everything you want in a heavily sherried whiskey that's non-peated. Everything you want.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't know who... I understand if you say I like the ginger and I just like the palate, the feel of a Macallan better. Or I understand if you like the distillate of a Glenfarclas better. But as far as a sherry non-peated whiskey, to me, that Glendronach 18 for the price point, that age statement, that ABV is the best buy.
This was absolutely the king, especially back when you could pick these up for about $100 in the UK.
Oh, you're like 140 here. It's a great buy.
They're 180 here now.
Well, Macallan's 400.
Yeah. Again.
At 3 less ABV.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends, I guess it depends what you want. This is not as catchy of a name. Obviously, it doesn't look as cool in your bar. But this is the superior whiskey, I have no doubt.
And again, it depends who's coming over. The sales guy who doesn't know much about whiskey, Macallan looks better. You got a bunch of whiskey geeks coming over, this is getting a lot more attention than a Macallan 18.
Yeah, I want to think I compared that one time.
You did. Got a few views, you and Keith.
Yeah, I wonder what I thought then. Right now I'm really digging the Glendronach. All right, let's go to the 21. You're right. It's not as punchy on the nose, but again, I love
Yeah.
that Oloroso PX mix along with the
I've
color.
gotten like some sweeter, more like stickied PX noses before. This one is a little, just to me, it's missing a little bit on the nose. Not bad, nothing negative here, just missing a little bit.
I agree. I like the nose on the 18 better. Yes, after having the 27-year-old PX, it pales in comparison. The sweetness does come off more artificial, a little more plasticky, clunky in the delivery. I'm a little surprised I'm going to say this, but I actually prefer the palate as well as the nose and eat on the 18.
Jumping right to the end.
Well, we still have water.
I will say this.
It's a nice little cherry note.
I will say this.
Chocolate-covered cherry.
The 48% substantially improves the mouthfeel. You actually get a little bit of alcohol bite. Not much, not unpleasant, but just a little bit. It is richer. Coats the mouth more. Hits more flavor receptors. You can feel it in your gums and your cheeks. A lot more. It's doing a lot from that.
Do you
I
think
like
that's
that.
just that, or the fact that there's an extra cask maturation? And that happens to be a sticky, artificial sweetness type thing.
It could be both.
I don't know.
Absolutely could be both, but I think the ABV is very obviously higher here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were fairly consistent as far as ABV.
I definitely can. I pick up instantly. This has got a more alcohol bite.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought when I draw them they were similar, and again, I think they're similar. I mean, maybe if I was looking for that specifically, I would say, yeah, this one's a tick higher, and that's all it is a tick higher. But again, I think it's just having both cask maturations. This is just hitting different spots.
And I will say this: that sticky PX is lingering and giving me more of a finish lengthwise than the Allardice did. Mm-hmm. That said, I find the PX casks here just kind of, they're sugary, they're sweet, they're not really doing anything.
Well,
They're just kind of there.
they're not jumping out for sure.
No.
I mean, I think it was more in the balance and the toning down than it was, trying to say like, oh, this is a really great example of a PX cask. I mean, anytime you're mixing casks, you're going to lose some elements of that cask. I mean, it wouldn't be, and especially mass-produced bottles, I don't think it would be the game plan to use like the best PS cask or Oloroso cask in that scenario.
I think the problem is when you blend two things, you're hoping that they do something together that's better than the pieces, and maybe you're also expecting to bring down certain elements you don't want. This doesn't do anything better.
Okay, I agree with that.
It brings down the oloroso. So if you're thinking, man, it's too much oloroso, cool. But this also seems to hide the charcoal.
The charcoal note is less predominant on the 21 for sure. That could also be because of age, but regardless, I agree with your point on that. I agree it doesn't do the oloroso better. I disagree that the finish isn't better on the 21 than the 18. I like the palate better on the 18 and the nose better on the 18. And probably overall, it's a better performing whiskey, especially for the cost, without a doubt. But it doesn't change the fact that on the finish, I think it's a better linger with the 21 than the 18. That's the only.
I agree with you on that one.
That's the only real advantage I can give it between the two.
And I agree with you on the 21. It definitely lingers longer because that sticky PX is sticking to my cheeks. It's sticking to my gums. It's definitely staying there.
And then that's the reason why it has a better finish. It's just longer. And I like that finish.
There is a note here on the 21 that's coming out now that you've added water. It's almost like it's like a salted, some kind of salted like fruit, like so it's some kind of weird dish you'd get like on a tropical island.
I'll tell you what, man, now with water, I'm going back and forth between two different types of, to some degree, chocolate-covered cherries. It's really obvious now in the 18.
The 18 is definitely chocolatey. Very chocolatey.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say the 21's a more complex whiskey. I wouldn't say it's a overly complex whiskey, but it's more complex than the 18. And that's what we're doing. We're just comparing these
Yeah. I mean, I think there is more going on with the 21. It's just...
Nothing special, like you said.
Yeah, this is more refined and sophisticated in the what it does. And it's really just two things. The charcoal oak note and then the big sherry.
Big sherry overcoat. All right, Dustin. So I am ready to make my decision, although it was not the decision I assumed I would make. If someone's buying the drinks for you at the bar, doesn't matter to you what they cost, what are you taking? Glendronach 18 or 18 Allardice or 21 Parliament?
Well, I actually came into this thinking, based on the fill level and the fact that I really got into this whiskey, I was going to take the 21 because I do like that bigger mouthfeel. I do like the finish, but
I thought so too.
this is just so much better. Like, this just does everything I want in a big sherry bomb so well. I mean, I need more bottles. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can ever find another one of these.
This is why I give it to people for like a gift.
Yeah.
It's great whiskey.
Yeah, and how do you dislike this whiskey? It's just so well done.
Yeah, it's so unassuming too in the blue tube, and it's tall. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't like this not this big presentation that it's a 20-something-year-old just bomb of a whiskey.
No, yeah, it's not a big box. People aren't thinking, oh my god, you just spent $400 on whiskey.
I tell you what though, I agree with you. I'm at a bar. I didn't think I'd pick the 18. I would pick the 18. Not only is it more aggressive, more fun whiskey. You know, the only thing I can think of is maybe I'm biased because that was the first whiskey I had and I fell in love with it right away and blah, blah, blah. But side to side, it's just a more enjoyable, fun experience and it gives me what I think of when I think of Glendronach.
Yeah, and exactly. I think you're right. This is more Glendronach. It's classic Glendronach. It is that
It is
charcoal Glendronach at its best.
Yeah, it's a sherry overcoat for sure. Mm-hmm. This isn't as much of an overcoat, so you got to give this one a little bit of time. But I mean, again, it's unapologetic of what it is. Yeah. It does two things super well.
Yeah,
and those two things people
don't
want.
buy these kinds of whiskeys if you're not looking for a sherry punch.
Yeah,
that's also kind of why this one I think has become such a big staple for so many people. It's not the price; it's that I want a sherry bomb, and you give me these two choices. This is the sherry bomb.
How many times do you see a sherry bomb over 20 years old, though? I mean, it happens.
Gallon 25?
Is it a bomb, though?
People could afford... I mean, it's...
The 10 cask strength was a bomb.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all sherry.
I'm just saying, this is a huge sherry punch.
How about Glendronach 25?
Someone too.
Beautiful one.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is well said. Anyway,
yeah.
Those are our thoughts on the whiskey. We both are in unison on this particular one.
Yep.
We prefer the Glendronach 18 by the side-by-side comparison. Dustin figured that'd be the case. I did not. I was wrong. It's happened before. Assuming I get tomorrow, it'll happen then too.
And today, guys, I just want to drink some more whiskey.
Yep. Well, I thank you for once again joining us for another whiskey review. If you guys had a chance to try these, and I assume if you're watching our whiskey review channel, you've tried one of these or both of these whiskeys before. Let us know what you guys think. And until next time, best of all, we wish the folks.
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.